Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
On September 17th, 1994, Alabama's Heather Whitestone was selected as Miss America for 1995. One of the questions that was asked of her in this contest was this: if you could live forever, would you, and why? And Heather's answer was, I would not live forever, because we should not live forever. Because if we were supposed to live forever, then we would live forever. But we cannot live forever, which is why I would not live forever. Oh, boy. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Call in. Oh, my. Good morning. Oh, my. And I guess being a beauty queen, you can get away with those kind of answers. I don't know. Hey, I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and welcome to our program. Our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale right now. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Top of the morning, laddie.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think I should live forever because we're not meant to live forever. I don't think I would live forever. I'm sorry, I got carried away. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Did you see the sunrise this morning?
I do, and I did, but boy, right now it's a little tacky out there.
Oh, down here in Hebron this morning, the skies to the west, the clouds were just, it was beautiful.
It was. And I am not a proponent of daylight saving time, so I guess maybe I'm going to sound like Mr. Negative when it comes to daylight saving time, because I don't like being in dark all the time.
Yeah, like the Indians say, only a white man can cut an inch off the bottom of a blanket and sew it on top to make it longer.
Yeah. Okay, buddy, thank you for your call.
You bet.
Okay. Hey, don't forget, our weather brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hebron. Oh, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Roger and the crew. Good morning, Roger. 7 o'clock, they open the doors. They've been there working hard. And they've got all your tools for your construction projects, your equipment. They've got all your lawn and garden equipment ready. Yeah, I know we're going to have a couple of days of nasty, but then you can get back out there and get to work. K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway, 678-3122. Here's the weather.
Expect some rain showers for today. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Rain showers likely, maybe some thunderstorms this afternoon as well. Cloudy skies, high of 49. A little bit on the breezy side as well. East wind right around 10 miles an hour, becoming west by this afternoon. And for tonight, 40% chance of rain showers in the forecast, mostly before midnight. After that, it's going to turn to snow. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 34. Tomorrow, chance of rain or snow showers in the morning hours, mostly cloudy by the afternoon, and a high of 45. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 38. And by Friday, still, again, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the forecast, and a high of 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Appreciate it, and thank you. Brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Hello, they're ready to serve you, as they have been since 7 o'clock this morning. Right there on the Burley Paul Highway, K&R Rental for all your tools. And if you need information about what you need, just call them, 678-3122, K&R Rental. Holy cow, busy day today, and we've had some alterations and changes last minute. I hate last minute changes with guests that, I'm sorry, can't be there. I had a guest call me this morning, or no, I should say email me this morning at 15 minutes to 8 and say, oh, well, I'm not going to be available today. Wow, that puts everything into a tailspin. I want to remind you about Ramsey Heating and Electric. They are so good, and they've been in business for almost 60 years. Yeah, that's right, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, open at 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday for all of your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. They're sharp. I mean, they are good. Well, that stands to reason because they've been in business, like I said, for almost 60 years. The best. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. I know somebody that provides some really good food, and that's Denny's Restaurant. We're going to be over there next week on the 22nd for our March Lunch Bunch, and everybody wear green next week on Thursday because we're going to give you a little bit of a kiss of the Blarney Stone. Okay? And that's at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Don't you forget breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. And they've got another location, too, at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Absolutely the best people, great food at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. All right, your calls really be appreciated this morning. Excuse me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The Times News did it again on various things and mistakes. I had to chuckle at this one this morning. I love to proofread the Times News because evidently nobody else does. But they have a picture of Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and others in the House, and they're answering questions at a lunch forum. And Scott Bedke, picture this in your mind's eye if you don't have a copy of the paper right there. Scott Bedke is sitting at the right side of the picture, okay? But the Times News said, and to his left are the rest of these people. The only thing that's on Scott Bedke's left is the wall. Everybody else is to the right. So I guess maybe I'm being really picky, but Times News doesn't really know their left from their right. And they also wrote another story this morning about the passing of the Stand Your Ground bill that was passed yesterday by the House of Representatives. And they put the same phrase that I have been in question about since the first article came out about the Stand Your Ground bill. And they said the following, and I'm going to read this paragraph in its entirety. I want some of you real Sharpies out there, you Perry Mason types, to call me and give me a kind of a breakdown reasoning as to what this means. Okay, I think I have a opinion on this myself, but I'd like to hear yours. They said some opponents of this bill say it's not the role of the legislature to codify presumptions. Others point to increases in justifiable homicides in states that have enacted Stand Your Ground laws. And listen to this part. And data suggesting such laws disproportionately affect racial minorities. There is that same paragraph and that same last sentence about data suggesting such laws disproportionately affect racial minorities. What does that mean? Give me your explanation at 436 2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, I want to remind you this morning, starting at 10 o'clock, is the Big Drive Green event at Stoats Equipment, 119 Overland Avenue in Burley. Don't you miss it. Everybody's invited. There's going to be a lot of company reps there. There's going to be all kinds of equipment on display. Lunch is going to take place at noon. Don't you miss this big event. Vic and the crew over at Stoats Equipment. Great Big Drive Green event this morning starting at 10 a.m. Don't you pass it up. Okay. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Also want to say to the seniors or family members of seniors that if your senior is living alone in the house and all the isolation and the loneliness and the safety hazards and the injuries of being alone and not having somebody to help you in time of a crisis or whatever, poor nutrition, not eating meals, preparing meals, or missed medication. Whoa, wait a minute. Pomerell Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Remember to call 677-8212. That number again, 677-8212. Pomerell Place, a place for senior living. All right, now it's your turn. Come on, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Many Democrats are coming out and boldly saying borders, fences, bah humbug. I absolutely can't believe some of the stories and some of the people you will see on various networks that are coming out and absolutely, we don't need borders, down to the borders. In today's time, we don't need something as archaic as walls, open borders here and there and everywhere. What kind of nonsense is this? You cannot have a country without a border that is regulated and controlled. Now, I would really welcome, I mean this, someone out there in the hinterland to call me and disagree with me that you can have a country without borders and just everybody, y'all come on in, come on one and all. You can't have a country. Ask yourself this question this morning and look at any Democrat and ask them the same question. Why should you, as a citizen of the United States of America and a taxpayer to the United States of America, why in the world should you pay your taxes and respect the law when illegal aliens can come here and use basically our money and resources for free? I mean, literally. You cannot in any way have a society where some pay and many just take. Ain't going to work. And tell me if you could do this in any place in Europe. Tell me where you could do this and cross the border and just be subsidized and taken care of. You got to have borders. You have to have control. And this is absolutely getting crazy. Like yesterday, and I'm still scratching my head on this. I looked at my wife last night and I said, how in the world could this be? An undocumented attorney that practices here in the United States. Huh? Yeah. He is undocumented, which means he's an illegal alien, and he is practicing law here in the United States. And he said that the state of California has the right, that's the word he used, the right to protect illegals from immigration customs enforcement. The right? They're here illegally. Say it again, class. They're here illegally. The illegals are not citizens of this country. They are not taxpayers of this country. They are illegal because they came here illegally. They basically thumbed their nose at the system. And they are aliens, which means they are not citizens to this country. What is so hard to understand about that? And one sheriff in the San Francisco area yesterday, I could not believe this when I heard this. She actually went on a TV newscast and apologized to all illegal aliens for the ICE arrests and vowed to do everything she could to stop their arrests in the future. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. Call me and give me your opinion. Come on, folks. Speak out. Speak out. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. That's why we have the show, to let you talk, and please give me a call. Don't forget Dino Septic Service. I'll tell you what, they are fast, fair, and friendly. They get the job done that you and I do not want to do. I don't want to be out there pumping that septic tank. Ooh. Well, they do it with a smile on their face. And liquid waste removal and sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, water and sewer lines installed. Oh, my backhoe service. You know it, the list goes on and on. These are really good people. At Dino Septic Service, number to call, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. And they've got that big old truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service, you get a hold of them today. By the by, too, I want to remind you about Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And now when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to a $1,700 rebate. Airvana is just another great way that they'll make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. Okay, what is your feeling? Come on, audience. Do you want to just let everybody in? You know, we are told that we're bigots and hate mongers because, oh, you want to close the borders. You want to put up that archaic wall. You want to have everybody regulated who comes in here. Why not? My goodness. We can't afford to have everybody coming in here. We shouldn't be able to have that happen to us. We shouldn't have to pay more. We shouldn't have to pay taxes to a country that gives gratuity to somebody that's not even a citizen. What are your thoughts? Speak out, speak up. Let me hear from you, please. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, when you speak up and agree or disagree, that's fine on a format like this. But, you know, don't just let me be doing all the talking. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? It means a lot. Give me a call. While I'm waiting for your call that I just know is coming in, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley with Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists. They have a bunch of really good people over there. And I urge you to give them a call at 678-1191, 678-1191, and they've also got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the area, and it really will help. I urge you to call them, make an appointment, 678-1191, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. They're waiting for your call. Okay, call me. I'm waiting for your call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Students at many schools today are going to be walking out of class for 17 minutes or possibly more. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Thank you, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to talk to you about this borders thing. What country sends you their very best when they're encouraging their citizens to leave them?
They're not.
So what makes us think that having a wide open border and just let anybody come in, we're going to be receiving their rocket scientists and their people who are going to be able to save the world?
Well, Chris,
we just don't have the room to educate everybody's. Yeah.
No, we don't have the room. We don't have the environment. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the jobs. And these people that say, well, yeah, they'll come here and take jobs America won't want. Wait a minute. That's part of the problem. The Democrats are trying to replace our own society with an illegal, illicit society that'll eventually vote Democrat. I'm seeing a complete turmoil in our society today with the absolute vacancy of common thought and decency for our Constitution and the value for our own citizens. Our own people take second place.
Yes. And the saddest thing is, maybe we need to sit in on some of the classes where they're teaching about what our American laws mean. I'm wondering if our kids are getting that information.
I personally think that's a great idea, that more parents, more people should attend schools, sit in on various classes and sessions. I totally agree with that. I think that in a lot of cases, people will probably become slack-jawed and they'll sit there and go, holy smokes, and they're getting away with telling our kids that? I think that would happen in many instances. But right now, these folks on the left are really, really good at calling me and you and others that want to have a restoration of American values as bigots and hate mongers. I can take the name calling because I'll guarantee you this thing's got to change, or Chris, this country's going to go down.
Well, I just do not understand the liberals, other than it seems to me like they are fighting for their existence because people are getting educated. The liberal, whatever you call it, is not really making America better.
No.
And if I want to be a good American and have a wonderful country, I kind of tend to be more conservative.
There was one thing.
Well, then who picks up the bill for all of this?
Yeah.
The people who are making a living.
That's exactly right. Why should you pay your taxes? Why should you obey a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit sign? Why should you obey the laws and the regulatory means and methods of this country when they, the illegal aliens, are coming in and say, ha-ha, I'm here, feed me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and if you come in here illegally, you never aspire to the wonderful things that this country means.
You know, you said that we're taking them, the Democrats are doing this for their existence. I disagree with you on one part of what you said. I think the Democrats on the left are doing this for their dominance, not their existence.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, if they have more members,
yeah,
that gives them the upper hand, they think.
Well, I just don't understand why people are sitting there in their homes this morning and aren't outraged. Because basically the illegals in our society are here. They're basically saying, we've got rights better than you. We're going to stay here. You can't do a thing about it. But when our laws say that ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement, should do this and get this person, maybe a child molester that's being protected in a sanctuary city, or a murderer, or any other kind of criminal, and yet the illegal aliens take preference and special treatment over citizen safety? This is nuts.
And you and I are paying for it.
You got it, my dear.
Yeah. Well, keep on.
All right.
I'm on your side.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. God bless you. This is insanity personified. Absolutely. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget, on Mondays, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, what a bakery. Oh, what a restaurant. I tell you, great food. And they make wedding cakes and everything over there at Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I totally agree about this border thing. But what befuddles me is, why are they concentrating on building a physical wall with the sophisticated electronics that we have today? Wouldn't it be, I would think, less expensive, but certainly more effective to have electronic surveillance, etc. And our men, you bring some of this military home or put our National Guards or something and let them have real bullets instead of dum-dums and protect our borders.
Well, I'm not going to argue your point. I personally agree with the fact that we have a lot of military that could and should be brought down to the border and police it in a way that it would be extremely effective, as perhaps even more effective than a wall. But you know as well as I do, caller, that will not happen because of the liberal left. Oh, they'd right away jump up and scream, "Oh, you're turning America into a police state. Look at those jeeps going back and forth on the border and making sure that nobody comes in." And they'll cry their eyes out in protection of the illegal aliens, but not for the citizens that have had harm done to them in Arizona, Texas, all across the border. They don't care about them.
No, they certainly don't. And where are the people that they elected? Why aren't they doing their job? But then that applies to almost every one of the 50 states anyway. So.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And as a matter of fact, I had somebody the other day make a comment to me that I do not respect our politicians. That was their comment to me. And I said, no, I bit my lip and I said, that's not true. I respect the good ones, and I absolutely abhor and will go after them like a junkyard dog, the bad ones, and I'm not going to quit.
That's right. They have to earn our respect.
Amen. And thank you for your call again this morning. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You know, she's right. I would love to see the military come home and from the Middle East and other so-called hotspots and police our borders. I mean, if there's bad guys coming across with drugs, I know this sounds callous, shoot them. Yeah, I know a lot of you go, oh, how can you say that? Their intent for what they're trying to deliver is to literally give something to somebody in a sale to make a lot of money and eventually kill somebody. Drugs kill. And why should we let these killers even set foot on our soil? Bang. That's it. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk to you about the students, or this subject too. You can give me a call on anything. Students walking out of classes today. I don't agree with it, and I'll share with you my feelings on that in just a minute. I want to remind everybody about our dear friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, I think we're going to have one on the air tomorrow, Deanne said. And Berry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and the Nampa location. Oh, they are good. They have got all the Walker lawnmowers. Don't forget that. We are just literally weeks away, I hope, from mowing our lawns. And they've got the Walker lawnmowers that are absolutely the best. And, of course, they've got all the equipment rentals and retail equipment sales. They've got people that really, really know equipment and the retail rentals and sales. And, by the way, if you're not sure what you need or how to run the equipment, they've got a great big sandbox out behind. They'll teach you. Berry Equipment and Rental, Highway 30 in Burley with one, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and in Nampa, Berry Equipment and Rental. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Many, many students, and I'm not going to even guesstimate how many, are going to be walking out of schools today across the United States supposedly to honor and support the 17 students that had died in Florida. Now, I've thought a lot about this, and I am not in favor of this. I feel that the parochial schools, many of various religious denominations, have the right idea on this. Some have said, no, we are not going to let our students go out of school and possibly off campus to walk in a supposed protest or support of the students and the families that suffered so greatly in Florida. But we are going to have assemblies for prayer in our classrooms and or our gymnasiums. But just walking out of school could lead to chaos and disaster. I agree. I just think it has to be more regimented and regulated. And to just let students say, well, at 12:17, we're going to walk out of here for 17 minutes and just go. I'm not in favor of that at all. What are your thoughts as parents? Would you want your students to just get up and walk out? Or would you much prefer that there is a memorial service, so to speak, in the school, conducted by the school? Of course, then everybody's going to say, oh, you got to have separation of church and state. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not for this. Not at all. I'm more in favor of having the assemblies for possibly prayer and remembrance in the classroom and or the gyms instead of the helter-skelter of leaving and walking out. What are your thoughts? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know, and by the way, Wheels, I'm getting, I don't know if it's the weather or what, are we getting a little fuzz on the line this morning? How does it sound?
We're getting a little fuzz, but it's nothing that is interrupting over here.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will at 9 o'clock probably reestablish a new line. How's that?
All right, that sounds
okay,
great, sir.
Thank you. Calls welcome. Give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. SYS, there you go, not service. And now when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to a $1,700 rebate. Oh, check it out today. Airvana at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. Call them today. All right, call me today, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Were you listening yesterday when I had political analyst Dan Perkins from Florida on my program? And I mean, I about fell out of my chair when he said, I'm going to make a prediction on your program first today, and he said he had other programs to speak on. And I know that he's a contributor to many of the networks. And he said, my prediction is, and he thought it was a slam dunk, that Hillary Clinton would be the Democratic choice again in 2020 as a do-over. Oh, I cringe. I mean, I actually cringe when I think about that. Hillary Clinton again in 2020 as a do-over? Oh, that's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that the acceptance of Hillary would again be prominent by the Democrats. And how could they be that ignorant twice? Hillary in India. Now, this makes no sense to me whatsoever as to why she'd be invited to speak over there and for what purpose. I mean, India? And she's still griping and complaining about all the reasons that she lost the election, with the exception of ever blaming herself. Oh, no. And then she ends up again denigrating all the people that voted for Donald Trump and basically calling them ignorant and that they didn't know any better and that they're backwards and they're from red backward states. Whoa, hold the bus. How can she get away with that? Well, she probably won't. She is absolutely touting all the cards that were stacked against her, and she's crying and moaning. Is that a way really to effectively try to resubmit your name on a campaign? I can't believe it. This woman, in my opinion, and if I sound harsh, I don't care. She is an old, frail, hate-filled, despicable former politician. I'll say it again. She's old and frail, hate-filled, despicable former politician that needs to just go away. Hillary Clinton, there is no room for you. I hope we have seen and heard the last of her. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk to you real quick. Boy, I'll tell you what, wake up and give me a call here this morning, please. Rogge Auctions with Cade, Ron, and Jed, they are going to have that great big spring consignment sale. It's going to be at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds on Saturday, March 24th, starting time 10 o'clock. And don't you miss it. And they're taking consignments right now. I mean, whether it's farm equipment, lawn and garden equipment, panels, gates, everything, ATVs, give them a call, and I'll give you Cade's number, 431-0074, and Ron's number at 431-6187. Rogge Auctions with that great big spring consignment sale at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds on Saturday, March 24th. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Well, there he is. Hello, Bunky.
Hey, yeah, she's got that short-term memory deal.
Who does?
Oh, Hillary does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she had to move from Arkansas to New York because she knew she couldn't win a Senate seat in Arkansas.
I need you to be turned up a little bit, Wheels. We got to ride that a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing him. Go ahead, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, and, because she couldn't win a seat in Arkansas. So she moved to New York where things way left.
Where everybody just totally loved her.
Oh, yeah. And then... and what she done politically, she has done nothing. There's no bills that she sponsored or even written or passed that's done good for anybody.
You really bring up an excellent point that needs to be elaborated on a little bit, and it brings to mind a meeting that took place between a couple of commentators, and I do not remember the program. It was not on Fox News. I remember that. I think it was on CNN. And one person said, well, really? What has Hillary done? And the other person scoffed at this person and said, what do you mean what Hillary's done? Why, she's been so outstanding and doing all sorts of things for the American public. And this person on the other side of the desk stood her ground. It was a lady. And she said, no, please define for me what Hillary has done. And this other person went into he looked like a cheap bottle of wine bubbling over because he couldn't come up with an answer.
Exactly. That's exactly it. The only thing that she has done is used the State Department to enrich herself.
I wouldn't say used. I would say abused.
Yeah.
And your phone went off, and I don't know the name of that tune, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Sweet Home Alabama.
There you go.
Anyway, but, she did. And she has never done anything for the American people. She just took advantage of the American people for her. And had it not been for the super delegates, Bernie Sanders would have kicked her rear.
Yeah, and I just wish that there were Democrats in our audience that had the nerve, the spine, etc., to call and say, well, look at this. She's done this and she's done that. But they don't ever call, Doug. I beg them to call, but they won't call.
They won't. And they won't stand up against her because they don't want to be on that long list of people that have committed suicide by stabbing.
Yeah, by stabbing. Oh, Dougie. No, but Hillary, did you see her on that stage over in India when they were supposedly asking her questions about her candidacy again and why she lost, etc.? Did you see her? Did she not look like an old, frail, hate-filled, despicable former politician?
She does, and she does not look healthy.
No.
I think if the truth be known, she's far from healthy.
Well, and I said yesterday, and I said it, and I'll say it again. I draw the line on any criticism at all about anybody that has a physical impairment. I'm talking strictly about Hillary as a politician. That's the only reason I talk about her. Whether it comes to or should come to talking about her physical impairments, I won't do that.
Well, true. But I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm saying she could not be a leader because isn't very healthy.
I totally agree with that statement, and it's obvious. Doug, give us your quick 10-second spiel. I've got another caller.
All righty, let's take care of our senior centers. Let's do what we can, support them, rent their facilities, donate it if you can. God bless.
That was 7 seconds. You still have 3 seconds left. Hurry.
Okay. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. God bless you. Thank you. Caller, good morning. I'll put you on before I do the weather. Go ahead.
Jeb, I wondered if Hillary, wherever she is doing another Hanoi Jane deal. I was concerned about that a little bit. My big concern, however, is why we haven't made enough to do about the NBC reporter who, as soon as Putin announced that he could take out anyone at any time in America, we had somebody, an NBC News reporter, went over and immediately did an interview and kumbaya with this guy. To me, it's despicable and almost treasonous for having a news company go to a person who said, I can take you out any time, and the very next day do a kumbaya. It makes me sick, and I hope that some of our Vietnam vets would like to comment on this. I don't think we should sweep this under the rug. I think we need to discuss this with fake media and those people in the media.
Well, and
we really need to stand up and do something about it.
I would not ever argue your point of view on this. I think it's absolutely a crime, and I mean that, underline that 5-letter word. The way the media, the left-wing media, has been absolutely on a straight and narrow Wizard of Oz path to denigrate this administration, denigrate conservatives, denigrate Christianity, and pave the way for evil in the world. And also included in that statement about evil is the acceptance of the Muslim ideology in this country. It's getting worse every single day.
It's got really nothing to do with the administration. It has something to do, though, with anti-American sentiment.
Yes.
And this news reporter went over there and kowtowed to him and disrespected our country, and that's the part that annoyed me the most.
Well, and I can't argue that, but I sit here and I go, how in the world do these people keep a job? 35, 40 years ago, if any reporter had acted in such a manner or said something that absolutely was not in proponency of the United States, they would have been fired. And today it's an accepted practice, and I just wonder whatever happened to the ethical values of journalism.
Well, it's surely not acceptable to me, and I refuse to watch any of the news reports, including our own Idaho Public Television, because they're just as one-sided as the next.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you. That man is 100% right. Some of the newscasts that I have skipped through the dial and caught on ABC, CBS, NBC, and the deplorable CNN and MSNBC, how do they keep their jobs? How do they keep their jobs? Right now, let's do a weather forecast. And the weather brought to you by some really, really good friends of mine at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And they are located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. The number to call, 312-0957. Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell absolutely are very compassionate audiologists that are so skilled and so knowledgeable they can and they will help you with your hearing problems. Call for an appointment today, 312-0957. And, of course, the weather now brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Gina, what's it going to do?
Expect some rain showers for today. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Rain showers likely, maybe some thunderstorms this afternoon as well. Cloudy skies, high of 49. A little bit on the breezy side as well. East wind right around 10 miles an hour, becoming west by this afternoon. And for tonight, 40% chance of rain showers in the forecast, mostly before midnight. After that, it's going to turn to snow. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 34. Tomorrow, chance of rain or snow showers in the morning hours, mostly cloudy by the afternoon, and a high of 45. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 38. And by Friday, still, again, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the forecast, and a high of 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you, Gina. Good morning, everybody from Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Give them a call. Make an appointment for a hearing screening today. I did. It was really, really educational. I learned a lot, and they helped me. 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, good morning to you. Welcome. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. The reception on the radio is terrible down here today. It's been for the last couple of days.
Oh, well, I'll tell the engineer.
It's okay.
I'll tell the engineer.
The left-wing media is leading our younger generation to a life of destruction. They have no idea what it is. This younger generation has no idea what it is to live under socialism, communism, or Sharia law. And if they don't change their way of thinking and see what's actually happening here because of the Democratic Party, they're not going to get away with all the garbage that they're getting away with.
You know, Tony, I have never in all my 70 years, I'm an old man, and I'm sure there's others calling me names other than old man, but I've never seen America stoop as low as it is right now in the way that we do things, the way we accept things, and the way that we allow things in this country. I am fed up with it. We need to go back to a semblance of rules and regulations and values and codes of ethics. We've lost it, man.
Well, look what Hillary Clinton's doing right now. She's down there in India, you know, the Benghazi Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She's down in there just complaining about the United States. And you know what? From what I saw on there, these people in India are viewing her as a big joke.
Well, she is a joke, but she's not funny. Nobody's really laughing. I mean, this is almost pathetic.
We're losing our country before we know it. And, you know, I'm awfully glad that Donald Trump is giving us a little bit of peace of mind for the next 4 years, and I hope to heck he gets another 4 years after this one.
I certainly agree with you, and Tony, I know that I'm just one voice crying in the wilderness, but I'm going to keep on fighting for what I think we need to get back to, and evidently my listeners do too. Thank you so much for your call this morning. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
You
Bye.
bet, my dear friend. Calls welcome, and we have another one waiting in the wings. Step out of the wings, step on the stage. Good morning. There you are.
Good morning, Zeb. Over here in Filer, I can just barely make out. It's so scratchy, but anyway, you know, I won't call you an old man because I'm a couple years older than you are. So, you know, but age does creep up on us. But can you imagine what this country would be like now if Hillary had gotten elected? Think about it.
No, I don't want to think about it.
So much. I mean, we were without Trump being elected and changing things around on coal, on energy in business, in steel mills coming back, and jobs coming back, and renegotiating NAFTA. I mean, it's incredible what he's accomplished. But if Hillary had gotten elected, and I mean, it looked like it was a sure thing, and they did everything they could to make sure it didn't happen. But Hillary, you know, is just absolutely socialism on steroids, and colluding with the Soviets, you know, in every way. And Obama, of course, said, after I get elected the second time, you know, I can negotiate, get more favorable than I can now. And so this is the kind of stuff. We've got the deep state out there that's been going on all of our lifetime. You know, Alger Hiss was a communist agent in the ag department because the old Soviet Union, the farmers and ranchers were the hardest to bring down, and they starved them out. It's over 6 million of them in the Ukraine alone.
Yeah.
And so we have to be thankful, but we can't be just talking about it. We've got to be active. And I've been trying to get our state legislators to get with the picture and get out of federal education. There's a bill that's sitting in the Ways and Means Committee, the House Bill 412 and 413, would end federal aid to education in Idaho,
comes with all those strings attached, of course. But no, they're just sitting on it, and they won't look at what would help or improve our kids' understanding of our Constitution. And that's the problem. The kids don't understand what made this country great in the first place, that gives them the opportunity to live in individual liberty and freedom.
I agree. I agree that so much.
I recommended the book, The 5,000-Year Leap, by Cleon Skousen. It's got the 28 principles of liberty that are contained in the U.S. Constitution. That book alone would change the attitude of these kids in our school system. It would be it'd be incredible. One semester of teaching out of that book would just be incredible.
I got to run. I got to go to the news, Adrian. I thank you for your call this morning. I thank you. I got to run and get my last word in before the news at CBS, so thank you very much. I agree with you, and thank you for your call. Thank you very much.
People get involved and get hold of those legislators and get hold of our Congressman Senator and stop this nonsense.
All right, thank you very much. Great big spring tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. They've got all the tires on sale for your cars, pickups, SUVs, boat trailers, horse trailers. All the tire needs are right there at the 7 locations of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center. Stop in today, along with the best in brake service. That's not brag, that's a fact. The best of front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and always the best of service. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Serving you, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Right now we're going to take a little break, run to the news. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh my, how things have changed. Why, it was only a matter of mere hours that my lovely bride and I were sitting outside on the bench enjoying a nice adult beverage, saying what a beautiful day it was yesterday. Yesterday. That ought to be a sound title for a great song. Yesterday. Anyway, the Beatles did it. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And they're having a big spring tire sale right now. And, of course, our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, how about this good word for Western Way Services?
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
You know, I don't plug enough the fact that they have the dumpsters in various sizes. They got the smaller ones, they've got the little medium size, and then they got the big dudes. And you can really clean out your basement, your garage, or in my case, my office, park it by the back window, pitch and throw, get it out of here. I tell you what, they've got dumpsters for all sizes of problems, of taking care of your waste. So get a hold of them today. Western Waste Services, number to call, 734-6969. Always at your disposal. Really good people. Want to remind you, too, that tomorrow on Thursdays we have our Cassia Regional segment to where we meet some of the outstanding people over at Cassia Regional Hospital. They provide you and your family excellent health care, answers, and services. They're right here close to home. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, and they have the answers to your questions. Please, they are there to serve you. Cassia Regional Hospital, quality care close to home. Cassia Regional Hospital. Right now, and don't forget, that's at 9:17 tomorrow morning. Excellent people on the program. I just absolutely am amazed. And I want to remind you, too, about our friends with Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Yeah, they've got a product called the Airvana. It's defined as the ultimate level of comfort that you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to a $1,700 rebate. Holy moly. Airvana's just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Right now on the program, this lady was so kind to a last-minute call this morning so we could get her on the air and talk about the 4th of July patriotic program. I had a cancellation. I called her up and I said, please, can you help me? And here she is now on the show this morning. Colleen Wood, good morning, and thank you for being on the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You are extremely welcome. Colleen, tell me about the revival. I love that word, the revival of the patriotic program that for a long time was at the King Fine Arts Center. What's going on here? It kind of waned for a while. Is it coming back?
Well, we hope to. For several years it was put on, and then those involved in it kind of had other things in their lives, and it kind of fell away. And I had several people talk to me about bringing it back. I had been involved in it previously in different ways. And so after several people had contacted me and said, is there any way we can bring this back, I decided, and I wanted it to come back, and so I decided, okay, we'll start working on that. And so I got together three people that had talked to me, and we decided that we wanted to try and make this come back again. People loved coming. We filled the Fine Arts Center twice in a night, oftentimes, and it was just something that I think our community needs again, and so we're working to bring it back.
Well, let me tell you that my wife and I have been there on numerous occasions, and I tell you what, I walked out of there with a chill up my backbone and pride, and I held my head up high because this is my country. I am proud of my flag and my Constitution, and after attending that event at the King Fine Arts Center in years past, wow. That was such a blessing on the 4th of July.
Well, it was, and I think we need that back in our community. We don't have a lot of things that we celebrate that way, and I think we need some young people to be coming back to that and reviving their patriotism, and so we're working hard to get that back. But this time we want to change it. Before, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints had sponsored it, and they were instrumental in beginning it. And this time we want to change it and make it just community-minded and community-sponsored. And so that's why we want to get on the air and let people know. And, of course, with that comes financing. And so we're going to need some donations to make this happen.
Okay, let's get right down to the bottom of the page and talk about the financing and the amount that you have to put this on, and where the money goes, and how people can be a part of it as far as donations are concerned. Kind of lay out the program for us.
Okay, well, just doing a rough estimate of where I think we need to be. We're at least around $2,000 to put it on. That will finance the rent on the Fine Arts Center, to pay the custodians and the technicians and all of those who will be, needing to put it on. We'll have some advertisement in there. Our music, we're keeping low budget. We're going to reuse music that has been used in the past, so we aren't buying music this year. They've graciously allowed us to use their music. And there's just, as I started, adding things up, there's just little things here and there, and it becomes quite a cost. And so I wanted to set up a nonprofit budget and account, and I was told the best place to go was to work through the community chest because they take care of all of that, and they've been approved. And so our financing will run through the Mini-Cassia Community Chest, of which you're very aware of, and so donations can be sent to them, and then they will in turn send you a tax charitable donation receipt so that you can use that if you would like. And all the monies will be put in an account in there, and then we filter the bills through them and they pay them. And so none of the monies that will be donated will go into anybody's private pocket to, be used towards that. It just makes it a nice, safe way of having your donations run honestly.
Colleen, how can we structure this? I'm absolutely going to lend my support and help to this. I mean, you don't even have to ask twice. I will do all I can on this radio program to support this. But, what we need is about maybe 20 businesses just to kick in $100 and the deal's done. I mean, we've got it. Or 20 individuals.
Great. I mean, that would be wonderful, but I'd like, it to be a volunteer, and if there are patriotic people out in your listening audience that would like to make a financial donation to us, they can do that through the Mini-Cassia Community Chest.
Uh-huh.
The address is Box 477, Hayburn,
okay,
83336. And if they would mark on their paper whatever they send in that it's for the patriotic program, then that will be funneled into our account.
Okay, now, what about the dates? I mean, have you kind of set up a format as to the dates you're going to have this and the time and all this?
We've done it in the past on the first Sunday before the 4th of July, and so for 2018, that will make it July 1st.
Okay, and that would be on a Sunday, you said, right?
That's a Sunday evening, uh-huh.
Now, you...
haven't quite decided whether we're going to do one or two shows where we're just reviving it again. So that'll come out when we see what our interest, looks like. But we'll do more advertising as the time goes. We just kind of needed to get in the beginning stages of it. The script is written, and Charmaine Ralph, that has done it in the past, has graciously helped us with the script again. And Bonnie Bear will be directing the choir. And we want this to be a community, and hopefully each year we'll make some changes in who is participating so that we get more people involved.
Absolutely. Boy, I tell you what can I do? What can my radio program do to be more of assistance? You tell it, and we'll get it for you.
Well, I think the main thing for you is just to get the word out that this is what we're going to be doing and that we need some, financial backing. And, well, as I continue to get the people together and we get things online, I can contact you and let you know how we're doing and where we're at with it. But I just would really like to know if people are interested, if they're, willing to participate and come out, and that would be a great help to know what kind of support we have also.
Okay, now, when you say that, then you're opening the door for perhaps giving your number or a telephone number of someone so that they can respond as to the interest and whether or not they want to keep it. Can you give us a number where they can call you and voice their opinion?
You bet. They can have my number. I'm Colleen Wood at 208-678-3652.
Colleen, I really can't say enough about the effort that you're putting forth on this because like I said, I've been there. I think we need more of this type thing in America today, not less. And do you have a board of directors? Do you have some people helping you, or are you going to take the burden on your own shoulders?
Well, we started out with Ursula Byington and Rick Hurst and Helen Bocutt and I met. These were people that had approached me, and I said, okay, if you want this, then you got to help. And so we met and made the decision that we wanted to go forth and do it. And so they are in the background. Of course, we had Charmaine has written our program for us, and then Gary and Glenna Turner are going to kind of also be the financial end of this, and so as things happen, they'll make sure the bills are paid and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
That way. So as time goes on and we know that this is going, more people would get involved with it. I hope to maybe get some help with the program itself, some volunteer help and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, no, I don't want it to just be me. This is not what the idea. This is community.
All right, now let me ask you.
And and wants to help, they can give me a call also.
Let me ask you this question. I think you touched on it already, but let's elaborate on it a little bit. What about people that have a talent? What about people that want to be involved? What about people that feel so strongly about our Independence Day and a celebration for the 4th of July? What about their getting involved? Are there times and slots available, perhaps on the docket, that they could be a part of the program?
Well, what this will consist of is a big community choir like we've had in the past. And so that's the best way for them to participate is in the choir. We've had times up to 100 people in our choir, and it's just a really exciting thing to participate in. And so our practices will begin sometime in May, and they're usually on a Sunday night, and we haven't got the place or time for sure. So that's something else I'll get back to you on as we, get that going. As far as special musical numbers and stuff like that, you can always call. We've kind of got what we think we want this year in place. But, anytime, I always keep a note of people that I see that have talents and things that we can use down the road. But being a part of the choir will be the big thing that they can help with this year.
All right. Folks, I urge you to contact this lady, Colleen Wood, and she is trying to revive an excellent program for patriotism on the Sunday preceding the 4th of July this year for our Independence Day. Colleen Wood, the number 678-3652. I hope everything goes 100% and you just absolutely have more money than you ever thought.
Well, and we will keep it to use it for the next year. So,
all right.
We want this to continue and go on year after year if we can get it to going. So we appreciate your help, and anyone that wants to contact me is certainly welcome to. And again, the address for the Minnecaja Community Chest is Box 477, Hayburn. All
right. Do me a favor, Colleen, and please keep reminding me as to how it's going so that we can mention that on the air, if you would.
Okay, I will do.
All right. Thank you. God bless you for being on the show.
And thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. Nice lady.
Have a good day.
I know that I just love, I guess I'm old-fashioned and corny, but I love ice cream and fireworks and standing up tall for that national anthem and all the patriotic songs. For years and years and years, being in the rodeo business and always being away from home on the 4th of July at rodeos, whether it was in Oregon or whether it was back in Oklahoma, down in Texas, wherever the case might be, and providing and doing the special readings for the patriotism part of our various performances, I really was involved in all the area 4th of July activities, whether it was, like I said, in Oregon, Texas, wherever. And, boy, you really feel the patriotism and the people that are proud to be Americans. And this kind of an event that needs to be revived, let's support it. Let's get it back. Let's make it bigger than ever. I really do agree with Colleen Wood for her efforts to bring back that patriotic program. Excellent. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Hanson Mortuary. By the way, I'll take some more calls. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Deanne had to run in just a second ago and point out to me that now it's snowing. What happened to yesterday? Holy moly. I want to say thank you to our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. Wonderful, wonderful people serving you and your family. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. I urge you to call them. I urge you to get information on the pre-planning of funerals that will take away the worry and the stress from your family. Please do that. Call them at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home, on East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, got time for a couple of calls. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Now, coming up, oh boy, you are invited. Where am I invited? Well, you're invited to the Stoats Drive Green event. It's going to officially start in about 35 minutes. 10 to 2 at Stoats Equipment Company, 119 Overland Avenue in Burley. Drive green, absolutely. We had Vic on the phone yesterday. We've been talking about it. This is going to be an outstanding event. They're going to have all kinds of representatives representing the implements and the tractors, everything for the great big John Deere Drive Green event. And they're going to have lunch provided at noon, equipment displays and demos. You don't want to miss this. You get there right now. Stoats Equipment Company in Burley, 119 Overland Avenue for the big Drive Green event. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning. I don't think it's any too early to start thinking about the 4th of July. And honestly, let's do it upright, because we are the most fortunate people in the world. We have the greatest country, and we live in the greatest part of this country.
You know, Chris, I agree with you, and I'm so thankful that lady sent me a note, Colleen Wood. But, you know, do you think back to your childhood or your teen years or your early married years with the different things and ways that you celebrated Independence Day and paid tribute to the patriotism for the 4th of July? Man, I've got a whole book filled of memories that I just absolutely cherish.
I think, from my memory, I remember a lot more about what happened on the 4th of July, because it was such a family experience.
Yes.
And my dad was a veteran of the Second World War, and he just pounded his chest for our country. And I love Christmas. I can't say enough about Christmas. But our celebration for our great country is just right up there with Christmas.
You know, every year when I was growing up and I lived at home with my mom and dad, and we were in the horse business back in Wisconsin, our great big saddle club would be invited to ride in the various parades, and we would try to make 2 parades on the 4th of July, the day itself. And then after that was over in the hot sun and the humidity of Wisconsin, I would look forward to just going home and vegetating and sitting on the back porch. My job was to run the manual crank making homemade ice cream.
Did you test it every once in a while just to see if it was right?
Well, you have to. That's part of the rules, my dear.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yep. And we had an ice cream maker in our family when I was little. But I don't know. If there is an American alive that doesn't love this country, they need to be exported.
Well, I just absolutely, I commend Colleen Wood for trying to revive this. I think that everybody should get involved. I don't think there's any excuses. We absolutely need to honor and absolutely say thank you to all the people in the past that have helped make this country what it is. And that is what the 4th of July Independence Day celebration is all about.
Yeah. And so I think if they need to raise funds for it, maybe if you know something about it, keep it in front of those of us who would contribute.
I will, and thank you for your call.
Thank you for talking to her. It just made my day.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. You know, I'm going to really keep in touch with Colleen, and we'll have more about that in the future. Hey, you know what's going on this week? Holy moly, hang on to your lazy boy, because the anniversary sale is going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. I looked at your lazy boy. I looked at your furniture. You know, it's getting a little tacky, a little worn. Well, now is the time to get into that anniversary sale at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. Up to 3 years interest-free. This anniversary sale lasts 1 week only this week. 30 to 40% off. Woo! You better check it out. All the mattresses and the bedroom sets and the recliners and the sofas and the living room living room groups, and of course all the carpeting and flooring, everything at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. 459 Oberlin in Burley. Jeff Bronson, the entire staff. Oh, what nice people. Serving you at their big anniversary sale going on all this week at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And while I have just a moment, I also want to mention to you that we've got our four-wheelers all cleaned up and ready to rock and roll. Yes, sir, thanks to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And, oh, by the way, if you have a four-wheeler that you haven't got serviced yet and ready to go, take it over there to the best doggone service department around. Tyson and the rest of the folks, they can and will help you. And don't forget, if you don't have a four-wheeler, what a great time to get in that showroom and say, I want that one. Absolutely. They've got a whole showroom full of them at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, yes, it's true. This is where the fun is sold, at Let's Ride. Wonderful people. I'm very thankful to Nick that he got us started in the four-wheelers. I'm having a good time all the time. You know, I'm going to take my plow off. Well, I was until this snow I see this morning, but I'm going to take my plow off and get ready to rock and roll. But Deanne and I both thought, I better wait till maybe the 1st of April. Let's see how the weather plays out. I want to also say thank you to Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Todd, the rest of the crew, gee whiz, they're good people. And they're very accessible and devoted to serving you, your family, and your business. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more. All you need to do is just give them a call. Give them a call, make an appointment, 436-4424. And that's Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. You call them today. Right now, we're going to talk about private property rights, or the lack of, and we're going to have with us, with the Pacific Legal Foundation, really great folks. I always look forward to having them on the air. And we have with us attorney Christina Martin. Good morning, Christina. How are you?
Good morning. Great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, you are extremely welcome. And what is this about the Supreme Court agreeing to hear about property rights case with what they say might be national implication? What's going on here?
Well, we're very excited about a case that the Supreme Court just decided to review, a case in which Pacific Legal Foundation attorneys are representing the property owner, Rosemary Nick, our client, owns 90 acres of property in Scott Township in Pennsylvania, and she basically, the local government decided to create an easement for strangers to cross across her property during the day, and she brought a takings claim and was thrown out of federal court because of a horrible precedent that PLF has been fighting for many years, that basically robs property owners of their constitutional property rights. And the Supreme Court has agreed to review that decision and reconsider that decision.
Okay, now, Christina, let's break this down a little bit so an old man like me can understand. The township or the county, Lackawanna County, they allowed to have an easement go through this lady's property. For what purpose? Where was the A and where was the B?
Well, to visit old grave sites. And in Pennsylvania, many property owners have old grave sites on their property because of a practice known as backyard burials. And so the town decided that there were a few stones that indicated there were graves on her 90 acres of land in a rural part of Pennsylvania. And they had passed an ordinance that said that you have to make your private property available for anybody to visit during daylight hours if you have a gravesite.
So, wait a minute now. This isn't very complete to me. Anybody and everybody, anywhere, could be falling underneath this problem of having a quote-unquote grave site on their property, whether it's related to the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the wars that took place between Indians and the cowboys and the cavalry, anywhere across the United States. Where is this lunacy about thou shalt create an easement on your private property to let Joe Blow and everybody else drive and do whatever they want to?
Well, here's the thing. The Constitution allows government to take property and make it accessible to the public for purposes like this, but it comes with a condition. The condition is you have to pay for it. If the government wants to take private property and turn it into public property, make it available to the public to visit, then they have to pay just compensation. But unfortunately, the town did not want to pay just compensation. They just wanted to basically turn private property into public property.
Well, the way I read some of this information for this program this morning, all it did was make me mad, Christina, because evidently from a newspaper called the Tribune Review, it said the question, should the United States Supreme Court make it easier for property owners to file federal lawsuits against governments who commandeer their property? Well, the answer from an old cowboy would be, heck yes, because good heavens, they're taking personal private property.
Absolutely. This is a constitutional right we're speaking about. And any time you want to raise a constitutional claim, if it's a First Amendment claim, a Second Amendment claim, due process rights, ordinarily you can go to federal court and vindicate those rights. The problem is where private property rights are concerned. If you try to go to federal court, they will very often throw you out of federal court because of this terrible case that was decided 30 years ago that said that, you can't bring a claim, a property rights claim in federal court for seeking just compensation and sometimes vindication of other property rights unless you file in state court. The problem is, of course, that state court doesn't always offer remedies. And sometimes there's these procedural tricks that lawyers can use to just get you thrown out of court, and so you have nowhere to go to vindicate your constitutional rights.
Christina, what about, and I've got so many questions about this, but what about the easement? What about the degradation of the property? What about the overflow onto other aspects of this lady's property? I mean, who's going to compensate her?
Well, that's exactly what we're seeking to get vindicated here by getting this Williamson County decision, this terrible decision that takes away your right to federal court, overturned. If the Supreme Court overturns it, then Miss Nick will finally be able to go and vindicate her rights and either get paid for this taking of private property or just stop it altogether.
On this municipality,
easement altogether, keep
right.
her private property private, one way or the other. We're hoping to vindicate that right.
Well, when I was reading this, I absolutely was taken aback because the municipality of Lackawanna County, they said basically that individual property rights have no right to say, no, they can't do this. What kind of airheads sit on that municipality?
Well, it's pretty common for us to see local governments, state governments, and frankly, sometimes the federal government does it often too, but they just ignore your property rights. And they often are able to get away with that because it's so difficult to actually get your day in court. It's expensive, it's difficult, and because of decisions like the one we're trying to overturn, you often get thrown out of federal court even when after your property's been taken, and you're left with nowhere to go. So That's why Pacific Legal Foundation represents People for Free. We're a nonprofit organization that assists property owners in vindicating their rights, and we also vindicate other constitutional rights as well. But we're hoping that the Supreme Court will overturn this decision again decision and give everybody their right to their day in court.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you an obviously, in some regards, stupid and naive question, but how did the folks find out about a gravesite on this property, and how did they promote it that they needed the easement? I mean, did this lady say, hey, I found a bunch of graves on my property, and so that started the problem? How did they find out about it in the first place?
Well, they crossed into her property. She did not want them on her land, but the ordinance said that public officials now can go onto your land to snoop around and see if they can find anything that looks like a gravesite.
You better.
And that's what happened in this case, which is obviously has constitutional issues there. You can't take an easement for public officials to access your land and, go on your property without a warrant.
You know, you just opened a door for a great big question here. You mentioned that federal authorities feel that they can come onto your private property, and I'm paraphrasing what you said, and basically look for anything. Do we as private property rights owners not have the right to maybe encourage them to leave, maybe with a single-shot shotgun or what? I mean, have we lost all of our sanity in this country?
I would not go there, but what I will say is this. There are differences in it's a little bit of a tricky issue when you start getting into government officials going onto private property. But one thing I will say that makes this case unique is that her property was fenced off with no trespassing signs.
Oh my!
She made it very clear it was private property. She was not welcoming public officials onto her land, and yet public officials went on there anyway to snoop around and see if they could find a gravesite there.
Oh my goodness!
This raises some very obvious questions, and something I think that it goes even further than that. The idea that public officials can just go onto anybody's property in this town and look for grave sites. It raises obvious issues with a possible taking of an easement, but it also raises a Fourth Amendment issue. But that's not an issue in the Supreme Court question that the Supreme Court has agreed to hear.
You know, what does this mean in general, Christina, in regards to private property rights? I don't care if it's in Pendleton, Oregon, or if it's in Clovis, California, or if it's in Murtaugh, Idaho, where I live, or back where you live. What does it mean for all of us to fear?
Well, what this case means for everybody is the difference between being able to force the government to pay you when it takes your property and to vindicate. And really, it's also the opportunity to get an unconstitutional law that takes an easement and doesn't offer you any means of compensation. It's also an opportunity to get that kind of law overturned. If the Scott Township wants to take an easement across everybody's land who has a cemetery on their property or a gravestone, I think that's a more accurate description, a gravestone here and there, then they really need to do that the constitutional way, and that's to pay property owners for that right. And everybody across the country should have an interest in that, because this is a little bit of a different situation than what we usually see. Usually we're seeing the government take land for, say for walking across an easement on a trail across a property. Or they're taking away the right to use your land. But whenever the government takes your property, you should have the right to go to court and demand that they pay you for it.
Yeah.
And that's what this case will mean if the Supreme Court gets it right and overturns this terrible decision and allows everybody the opportunity to their day in court.
Is this property, and I failed to ask this earlier, it just dawned on me, is this a farm? Is it just an acreage? What is the property used for?
Well, it's 90 acres of rural land. I'm not sure what all of it is used for, but it's certainly not a public area. She has it marked off with fences and walls, and this really affects everybody. We don't want the government to be crossing onto private land and snooping around and taking an easement for the public without having to pay for it.
It would sound to me that this lady needs to contact those of us that live in the West, and she needs to start a new enterprising business of raising rodeo bulls. And I would suggest to her that that would be a great 90 acres to raise them on and perhaps eliminate a lot of the trespassers.
Well, of course, if the government has created an easement for the public, then, that would create liability issues if she has bulls running across her land. So obviously, it sounds like a fun remedy and and a very amusing one, but it might create more problems. That's why it's absolutely key to get her right to basically challenge this ordinance and demand either compensation or to have the ordinance overturned as unconstitutional.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. You missed my point. I said it in jest, but really it's the truth, because you're taking away, not you personally, but the township is taking away this lady's right to use her property for perhaps a financial gain if she's a farm or whatever. And if they say, no, you can't run bulls on your property, that again is an infringement on personal property rights, that she has a right to do that on her own personal property. It may sound like in jest.
Absolutely an infringement of rights, but her ability to vindicate those rights will be stunted, if not completely taken away, unless we get this Supreme Court to overturn this terrible decision. Unfortunately, property rights have been treated as less important than our other constitutional rights, like free speech and then the Second Amendment right. And so we're hoping to get the Supreme Court to put property rights on a level playing field so that she would be able to vindicate that right to, say, have bulls on her property and not have to open up her property to the public.
Oh, I don't know what you're sitting here for. You should be getting to work right now and make sure this doesn't happen. God bless you. Christina Martin, attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation. And if they want to follow this case or other cases, how can my audience learn more about Pacific Legal Foundation?
PacificLegal.org. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
And if that lady wants to buy some bulls, call me.
All right, will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. God bless. Pacific Legal Foundation, Christina Martin. This is so ridiculous that we as property owners, we're being dictated to and legislated by a government that wants a heavy hand over all of us. And did you notice the one thing that she said in that story, and it really infuriates me, that they can come onto your property and look for potential problems and then create more problems. They can do it anytime they want to. This is absolutely disgusting. Like with the waters of the United States, if you got a pond in your backyard and it's just something little Johnny wants to float a boat in or whatever, they want to legislate all that stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous that we have given the government that many ridiculous powers to hurt us. We better get a weather forecast, and then I'll take some more of your calls. And the weather forecast is brought to you by really some hard-working people, especially at this time of the year. Serving you with the best of accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more, with people that really are professionals in serving you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Expect some rain showers for today. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Rain showers likely, maybe some thunderstorms this afternoon as well. Cloudy skies, high of 49. A little bit on the breezy side as well. East wind right around 10 miles an hour, becoming west by this afternoon. And for tonight, 40% chance of rain showers in the forecast, mostly before midnight. After that, it's going to turn to snow. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 34. Tomorrow, chance of rain or snow showers in the morning hours, mostly cloudy by the afternoon, and a high of 45. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 38. And by Friday, still, again, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the forecast, and a high of 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much. And the weather brought to you, holy moly, is it snowing outside? Yes, it is. We've got a lot of that angel dandruff falling over here. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they're busy right now serving you with the best of accounting services. And they've done that for well over, like I said, 50 years. Burley and Rupert locations of people that care about your business, your family, and, of course, getting your taxes taken care of right. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. You get a hold of them today. All right, you get a hold of me now. Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Joy Behar was basically forced to apologize to Vice President Pence and all of us Christians. She is a very disgusting woman, and I have nothing good to say about Joy Behar. I think that people that watch that show called The View and listen to their very leftist rhetoric are absolutely wasting their time. But she had made remarks denigrating Christianity and said that people that speak to God during prayer are mentally ill. Well, she came back and she was forced, literally forced, by ABC Network and the executives to issue an apology. And she said this, I think Vice President Pence is right. I was raised to respect everyone's religious faith, and I fell short of that. I sincerely apologize for what I said. Bang. End of story. You know, that is so canned, and that is so written out and rehearsed. I know you think I'm picking at her, and I am. I don't like the woman. I find her detestable, her, Whoopi Goldberg, and others on that show. But I think Vice President Pence is right. I was raised to respect everyone's religious faith, and I fell short of that. I sincerely apologize for what I have said. Bang, let's go to a commercial. That really, I listened to her say it on a news clip, and it didn't at all sound really remorseful. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Another story that is in the news this morning, a lady by the name of Gina Haspel. Have you heard of her name? Probably not. It came to the forefront yesterday as possibly President Trump's pick to lead the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Well, a lot of people said, well, who is she? And then the left started coming out and saying, oh, no, we can't have her heading up the CIA. Oh, no, not her. Well, I did a little research and found out a little bit more about this woman. And the people I've talked to said she would be a great CIA administrative pick. She is extremely tough, and she gets the job done. Well, the left hates her because they say that she is a believer in enhanced interrogation. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that when information is obtained from terrorists that are trying to kill us, your families, your grandparents, that if we use enhanced interrogation, we're the bad guys. Well, absolutely, I think this woman, according to her past track record of trying to protect America and Americans, is great. I talked to 4 individuals this morning back on the East Coast, 2 in D.C. and 2 in New York, that knew her and her track record, and they said that she would get the information necessary to protect the United States. End of story. So, Gina Haspel, a newcomer to politics, a name that we hadn't heard as of this time 2 days ago, may be the lady that we need in that organization to right the ship. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Oh, and while I'm waiting for your call that I just know is coming in, I received this from Doreen McMurray, and it's about tree orders. Seedling tree orders are now being taken by the Soil and Water Conservation Districts. 11 varieties of seedlings are available: deciduous, conifers, and shrubs. I love saying that word, deciduous. Quantities are limited. You must pre-order. Order forms, photos, and descriptions are available in the Soil and Water District offices in Burley and Rupert. And you can call one of the offices at 208-572-3369 or 208-436-4202. Okay? Got you covered. Now, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is one of the most despicable stories, and I'm sure you will not hear it on the national news, ABC, CBS, NBC, etc. But a teenager is accused of fatally stabbing a family during a sleepover, and when questioned, said it was due to his Muslim faith. Think about that. The 17-year-old converted to Islam after watching radical Islamic propaganda, which encourages believers to kill those who doubt the religion. The teen admitted to killing the 13-year-old boy after allegedly stabbing him and 2 others with a knife. The teen also read the Quran before attacking to, quote, give him courage to carry out his intentions. And you think that's a peaceful religion? You think it's not happening and growing in other parts of the country? The teen waited for everyone in the house to fall asleep, including a 15-year-old friend and his 13-year-old younger brother, and another 13-year-old boy, and the children's mother, Elaine Simon, before stabbing and killing 13-year-old Giovanni Brand on his birthday. This is so sick and so pathetic. Because he read the Quran and wanted to be a devout Muslim. I don't know what to say. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And it seems like we just welcome them and their ideology into our midst. Not me. I want to remind you that next week on Thursday, we are going to have our lunch bunch, and it's going to be at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and we urge you to be in attendance. It's our St. Patrick's Day celebration, and everybody's going to get a free Blarney Stone. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Wear green. Going to be a lot of fun. At Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, at 611 North Overland in Burley. Denny's Restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Well, the weather has really taken a nasty little turn for the worst, and be careful out there if you're driving someplace. Limited visibility, snow flurries, and everything else going on out there, and possibly again will turn back to rain, so be careful. Right now we're going to turn it back over to Wills. It's been a heck of a day. Wheels, W-H-E-E-L-S, at our main station, and he's going to take us up to CBS News. Oh boy. Hey. Guess what time it is with the snow falling and the weather turning bad and just turning into a nasty day? Oh, Kelton Hatch is here. Idaho Fish and Game. Kind of falls right into the pattern. We'll get to him in just a minute. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations celebrating a big spring tire sale right now. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Want to remind you, too, about Ark Animal Hospital. Anybody that has animals, don't forget, they really care. They're a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all, take care of them all at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call, number to remember, 678-1177. These are excellent people. Dr. Bill and the crew serving you, your animals, and your livestock. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Ark Animal Hospital serving you. Talking about cold noses, to which I don't want to find out, but we're going to say good morning to him. What's the weather doing out there? You just drove in with your Huskies.
Well, yeah, it's taken me 2.5 hours to get here through the blizzard. No, it's
Really?
like it was raining over there in Jerome, and out here you guys are getting a little of the white stuff. It's raining hard, and I think you're going to get, when I left over there, when you get the rain that was coming down over there and it turns to snow, you'll have like a foot because it was dumping.
Let's hope it doesn't freeze.
Oh, it's spring weather.
Yeah, but guys on crutches don't like ice.
Well, that's true, but you have to put, go get your crutch pad studded.
Yeah, you know what? I got to tell you a funny story, though. I did have some made one year, notice past tense, and I forgot to take them off when I walked in the house. The wife had a tendency to say words that perhaps I hadn't heard her say before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Kelton Hatch, Idaho Fish and Game, is in the studio, just like kind of going to the zoo. We fed him peanuts, and he followed down the hall to the office. And bear draw.
I was just glad those bad weather's driven everybody into the house, so now they can listen to you.
They can call.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an announcement to make. I forgot about this. Look right there at the edge of those magazines on my desk, and you will see a couple of books about fishing and hunting rules and regulations. Then attached to the top of it with a paper clip, you will see a green holder that signifies inside is my 2018 fishing and hunting license. There you go. I beat the odds.
Listeners, it's only taken 15 years to get him to this point. Congratulations. I'm excited for you.
Can't you say you're impressed?
I am. I'm excited for you.
Okay.
Now you can get applied and maybe draw a deer tag and go up and sling lead with your little lever action 30-30.
Well, you have a way to really denigrate the way I do things.
I love hunting.
You and I ought to go hunting sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's not such a good idea. It just hit me as a spur of the moment thing to say.
Yeah, okay.
Where's the body?
Yeah. But
what about this bear draw?
People have been really upset about this because we've got these controlled hunts over in Unit 32 and 22, and the draws were about a week or so late. They're supposed to be out this week if they're not out today. What has happened, the reason these draws are backed up a little bit, is because of our new system that we put in. The new
you told me about
system.
that. Yeah.
And so be patient, those of you that put in, and you should know today or tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Hopefully on that. And then turkey draws will be out at the end of this month.
Are you up for a drawing? Oh, I'm sorry.
But the people that applied for turkey permits...
Stopped you in your tracks there, didn't we, Buckwheat?
No. It's going to be a new lookup system, and to see whether you drew your permit. You used to grab all your friends' and friends' hunting license numbers and just type it in.
Utah State?
Yeah. North Gym. And type in your hunting license number, and it would pull up to see whether you drew that license number had drawn a tag.
Yeah.
Things are going to change. It may not happen on this bear draw, because they couldn't really give us a date when they're trying to get all this new stuff in on the system. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to make an online login again.
Okay.
And so don't get upset with me. I'm just trying to get you ready for this.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yes. The reason they're trying to do this is for security reasons. And once you get your login, it'll pull up your name, show all the licenses you have, and then it'll say, Zebel Drew, Unit 55 buck tag, or 54 buck tag.
Yeah.
And it will tell you, because we had a lot of people that would type their number in and it'd say no license was drawn to this, no tags were drawn to this license number. Then they'd find out that they actually did draw, and there's some glitches in our old system, and so they're hoping that this will clean it up. And so at the end of the month, I'm pretty sure that's going to be in place, so be prepared to have to go in, make an online account, another password to remember. So
that's one thing, passwords. I know that our life is filled with passwords.
Oh.
Do you write yours down?
Yeah, it's like I've got 3 different programs on my computer at work that I have to have passwords for.
Yeah.
And they all have to be different.
Yeah.
And so if anybody breaks into my office, all the passwords are Post-it noted to the left-hand side of my computer with the name of the accounts that it's supposed to go to. Because it's like, good heavens.
There you go. There's your security tip for today. Tell everybody they're on your computer and they're easy to find.
They're easy to find. It's like, geez Louise. It's like, why can't I just have one password?
Yeah, really.
For everything.
Everything. Yeah.
That way, I guess they say if somebody figures that one password out, they know your life. But,
for some reason, I would think it would be hard, knowing you like I do, and the way that you come across on the radio, I think it'd be extremely difficult to figure out your password.
You're right. Because people go, I've given my password over the phone a few times because people have to get into things. They go, really?
Is that part of the English language?
Really?
Okay. What about trophy applications?
Just wanted to get your heads up. Moose, sheep, and goat applications start the 1st of next month.
Now,
we're 16 days away.
When does the draw start? To put in for the draw?
Well, that is for trophy species, April 1st.
All right.
And then May 1st is when you can put in for deer, elk, and antelope.
And you'll remind me of that.
I will, probably in April and in May, and then when you don't put in June, no, you're going to do it this year. I can see you because you bought a license.
I'm enthused.
You bought a license, and so so it's weird because it seems like season just barely got over. But
I'm making a note,
making a post-it.
May
put your password on there so I can.
I don't know my password.
So May 1st is when you can put in for.
And tell people the process of that quickly, because I did have a call the other day about what do they do, where do they go?
Well, that's the thing that we don't draw these. I remember in the old days, people say, "Oh yeah, you spray hairspray on your hand when you put in for." They used to just take a piece of paper for the drawing before the computers when I was a kid. And so people say, "Oh yeah, you spray hairspray on it." So when they stick their hand in the bucket, your application sticks to their hand.
I heard that about people that go to church to try to get more money out of the collection plate.
Oh yeah. All I know is it probably all stuck together, and then you didn't draw at all. But no, the thing is it's completely random. It's a Vegas-like system that they have just for lotteries. They put all the names in. One thing people don't know is if you have 4 of you that put in on an application, and one of you drew a buck tag the year before, makes all 4 of you ineligible. And so everybody's thrown out, so you want to make sure whoever you put in with didn't draw a buck or a bull tag the year before, because they have a 1-year mandatory set out.
Ooh, you better check your neighbors.
You better.
Yeah.
Because I had a call the other day. The guy says, well, I drew a tag last year, but my friend said if I put in with him just because he didn't draw, I could draw with them. And I go, no, everybody's kicked out. The other thing, if you have any incorrect information on those applications, it also, when you put 4 people in or 2 people in, it doesn't increase your drawing odds by 4 times. A lot of people say, well, if we put in with a group of 4, they'll put our name in 4 different times. Everybody. No, it doesn't. No. It's an application, and so that application with all 4 people go in as one.
Okay. Now, sage grouse are on the lakes.
I guess you're done with that.
Yeah. Listen, you gave me a list of over 27 different things here.
I know. Sage grouse are on the lek. If you're out driving around, you can see the sage grouse out dancing.
Where do you go? I want to go to that party.
Well, there's lots of places.
Up in the South Hills?
You can go down the South Hills.
Can you get up there?
You know, the BLM land is supposed to open on the 15th.
Of March.
Of this month. Yeah, March. Unless
Am I going too fast for you?
I was trying to remember. Things are really going fast. It seems like it still should be January.
Yeah.
But on the 15th, unless the roads are really mucky, which it looks like they could be, and then they could delay the opening. Yeah. But they'll be opening up. You know, almost any of our back dirt roads, if you drive slow, you look along the edge of the road.
Just listen for the music.
Listen to it, yeah. Listen to them. They're out there back dancing.
Folks, I wish, honestly, each and every one of you at home could have seen that last facial expression in trying to imitate a sage grouse at a lek.
It's hard because
it was absolutely obscene.
I don't have the air sacs in my throat to make it bounce, but they're on the leks right now. Another big question we've been getting is rabbit season. I didn't realize so many people hunted rabbits.
Well, yeah, but they're open all the time, aren't they?
Well, unless it's cottontail. Cottontail closed this year on February 1st.
I didn't know that.
But our new regulations came out on January, and it says in 2018 you could hunt them till March 31st.
Okay.
However, this season was still on last year's regs, and so it was a bit confusing. We kind of goofed up on that. But you can hunt them until the end of February this year. Next year, it's going to be extended a month. So,
are there a lot of rabbits?
A lot of cottontails.
Really?
Yeah. And, rabbits are kind of cyclical.
Cyclical.
Yeah, about every 7 years, you have a really big bump in rabbit numbers.
Really?
Especially in your blacktail and stuff.
Why is that?
Just breeding strategies.
Strategies.
Yeah. And so,
okay.
It would take too long to go through all that.
Really? You'd have to go to Utah State.
You would. Okay. You would. And so, but that's going on. So everybody knows that next year you will have a longer time for rabbit hunting.
Rabbits. And by the way, how many rabbits can you take during the season?
You see, I knew you was going to ask me that, and I don't know.
Oh. You're admitting that you don't know the answer to a question?
I do all the time. People ask me, why do you do 7th ranch? I said, I don't know.
No. That's a good comeback. I like that. Thanks for being here today, Kelvin.
I couldn't pass that one up. Every once in a while, even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Deanne, fill this time slot for next month, would you please?
And so,
what about the?
Deanne likes me. Not much. But
she's really good at putting up a false personality on that. What about commission meeting in Boise?
This is a big one that I wanted to put a little more in depth on. There's a whole bunch of proposals. We actually had set 2-year regulations for deer, elk, antelope, bighorn sheep, and all of these. However, because of and we always knew if we had issues during the year that we would change, we could come back with special sections and additions to the regulations and kick them out there. We've had some things that have come up that we're looking at reducing the number of bighorn sheep tags in Unit 46, and that's that country over by the Jarbidge and Bruno, out by Three Creek and that area. We've got some disease in that area, and so we're looking at reducing the tags. We've got 2 hunts going on out there. The first hunt has 3 tags. The second hunt has 2 tags. We're looking to drop 2 of those tags and just make it the first hunt was from August 30th to September 14th, and the second hunt was 2 tags from September 22nd to October 8th. We're looking at moving that just to 3 tags and going from August 30th to October 8th, so you get the whole entirety of the season, but 2 less opportunities. We want people to go in and see. We got a lot of sportsmen that spend a lot of time out there, what they're seeing and stuff like that, but we want some feedback on that.
And this is over in the Jarbidge area?
The Jarbidge area, exactly. Jarbidge, Bruno. Okay. There's a bunch of things going on up in the Panhandle. If you're a whitetail hunter, up in 10A and some of those areas, they're looking at making some changes on season length and second tag opportunities up in those areas. and the Weezer River on the elk zone over by Boise. We have people that hunt all over the state, so I wanted to mention this, but they're looking at removing the capped number of elk tags on the A tag over there because we've got big numbers of elk over there. And the last one is we're looking at increasing the wolf trapping season, and the units near us would be units 39, 43, and 44, increasing that trapping season from October 1st to the 31st. And what we need you to do is to go onto our Fish and Game website, go to the hunting icon, and when you open the hunting page, on the side of it, it says proposed changes. Go in there and click on that and give us your 2 cents worth.
What about, and I'm going to be very serious about this, what about the management of the wolves? Are you at a level, you being the Fish and Game, are you at a level of consistency, or what's going on?
You know, in a lot of this front range stuff, we're still doing pretty good. We just removed 10 or 12 wolves through a Fish and Game action where we went in and removed them ourselves because of low calf survival up in the low and some of that area. Some of the state, we're doing really well. Our biggest complaint I hear from sportsmen is we never see a wolf, and I've got a wolf tag in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know,
but they're here, though. And we're not going to fall into the environmental claims of way below the numbers.
Oh no! We've got good numbers. We're still monitoring the numbers very closely. We have biologists, and their only job is monitor wolves and wolf populations.
Really.
And so, but we're still having a few areas, especially in the Selway, the Frank Church, the Lolo, and some of that area where we're still below our target number of elk. There's some habitat issues in there, but we're also getting some reduced populations because of the wolf, and so we're continuing to study those and monitor those numbers up there. And like this year, we removed some of those wolves from that population, hoping to increase calving survival this spring.
Well, no, I wanted to ask you, you talk about winter and you talk about survival. What about the wildlife survival percentages for the winter?
It was ridiculous this year.
Good, bad, or ugly?
Incredible.
Oh.
Really good. Yeah, we're right close to 98% survival on calf elk.
98?
I mean, you could have calves in a field, and a producer would be happy to have a 98%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, calf. That's the thing about elk. They're tough to kill. They're, they're a tough animal. There's not a lot that kills those calves.
Well, with increasing rates of survival like that, are you going to increase the tags?
Well, we've increased our cow numbers, and we'll end up next year. When we go through another cycle on regulation.
So 2019.
I'm sure that we'll have some increases on elk. These front range elk numbers, and when I talk front range, I'm talking this stuff basically from, from Cary down this direction and stuff in the Wood River Valley and stuff over on the Boise front and everything near populations or farm grounds. Our elk numbers are going through the roof right now.
Really?
And, they're growing fast. I mean, out here in the desert, we've got big numbers. We actually found elk over between Little Jacks and Big Jacks over on the Owyhees this year, and we'd never had elk in some of that area.
Why are they moving in there?
Well, because there's grass, and the populations have increased enough that as the populations continue to get bigger, they continue to expand their range where they can find suitable habitat.
I see.
And it's tough for people to kill them out in those desert situations because those elk aren't dumb, and they see it 1,000 yards and they're on a dead run.
Yeah.
And so, we're
so
seeing
a guy that's a poor shot like me, I wouldn't have a chance.
You wouldn't have much of a chance with the lever action 30-30 out there. You need more like a.
Are you making fun of my 30-30?
No, I love lever action 30-30s. I've got a couple of them.
I'm
talking, but you may need a 338 Lapua or something that's
A what?
Well, it's just a long-range sniper rifle.
Okay, thank you. Lapua. Is that Hawaiian made?
No, it's a military sniper round.
I see.
And so you can reach out there to a mile.
Now, I understand that you're looking for a new shed. It says shed hunting right now.
We are.
Yeah, what kind of a shed? 16
well, if you
by 12 or what?
If you want to see a wild conversation, go to Fish and Game Facebook, Magic Valley Facebook Fish and Game. It's like people are blowing up on this.
Why?
Well, a lot of the surrounding states have implemented a shed season.
Talk into the microphone, please.
Okay.
You're so tall that my microphone doesn't reach up to your chin.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But you got this tall chair. No. But no, a lot of the surrounding states have a shed season, which means that until around March 1st, they can't go out and look for deer antlers or elk antlers.
It's March 1st?
I think it's around, April.
I see.
Probably around April 1st, April 15th. I don't know exactly the dates that their season's open, but it's to eliminate extra people on mule deer and elk winter range.
Oh,
and we've had some issues this year down in the South Hills where we've had landowners call us, we've had sportsmen call us, where they've seen people up chasing herds of elk, trying to get close enough to them to see how many, if they've dropped any sheds, any of their antlers yet, and things like that. We've had some issues with this. It blew up on Facebook, and so it's just an article on there. If you want to go in and read it, put your 2 cents worth on there, because a lot of people don't think that we ought to implement shed seasons. We're starting to see a lot of people from surrounding states that have shed seasons are coming to Idaho to hunt for sheds here.
It's that popular?
It is. You can go out over in the Bennetts. We've got roughly 15,000 deer that winter in the Bennett Hills. That's those hills north of the interstate between Mountain Home and Bliss.
Yeah.
And close to 15,000 deer. It's not unlikely on a weekend to have 300 or 400 people out there on motorcycles and ATVs driving around or hiking around looking for sheds. A year like this doesn't really impact them. And I mean, they bring up a lot of different things like, well, they're fishing games looking at doing this, and they're chasing them with a helicopter. Well, the reason we're chasing elk and deer with a helicopter is to radio color them so we know where they're migrating and to see overall survival.
Absolutely.
And we do it that day, and we're done.
So now there's a shed season, right?
In some other states, we don't have one.
We don't have it.
But we've
so
had
if I'm up there and I see an antler, I'm legal. I can still pick it up.
You can still pick it up. It's just that we've had a lot of push lately to put a shed season in because of the number of people that are out doing it. It's a tough one to enforce because the problem is people being people will go out there and they can still wander around and go out and look, and what they do is they find the antlers, and then they hide them under a sagebrush or in a rock pile, and then wait till the day the season opens, and come back. They come hiking out with a 20-pound backpack full of antlers, and it's like, well, I just found them all this morning. And so it's pretty difficult to enforce, but it keeps the honest people honest, and the other people just doing the same thing they do.
Well, I've got to take a break here for a moment, and don't forget, Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to a $1,700 rebate. Airvana is just another great way to make you feel better. So contact our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 208-678-0459. We are going to take a little break for a few minutes and let Kelton rest while his jaws are just burning oil. And we're going to be back in just a few moments with more of the Fish and Game Report.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
We have to take a little bit of a refresher training course every month when we have Kelton Hatch with the Fish and Game on our program. I have to sit down and read a lot of how to improve your personality books. And here he is, without further ado, Kelton Hatch.
He thinks he's funny, but he's not.
Oh, that was so juvenile.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This next topic, you and I have talked about for 8 years that you've been on this program. And
Has it only been 8 years?
Pardon?
I've been here for 15.
On this program?
I think I've been here for at least 14.
How time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, you were a young man when I started.
I knew you were going to go there. And you were 30 pounds lighter.
I was. Well, maybe 40.
Okay, but we have the same story every year. I can remember almost verbatim what you're going to say about the baby animals out in the wild. Leave them alone.
Please. please. They're not hitting the ground yet, but they will be pretty quick.
Yeah.
We end up with pronghorn fawns. We end up with baby deer fawns. We've never had a calf elk in our region. I've had rock chucks, baby rock chucks.
Now, this
brought
is
in.
what you told me during the break. You mean to tell me that people actually picked up rock chucks, baby rock chucks, took them to the fish and game and said, "Can you give them a bottle of milk
to nurse them back to health?"
Are
and
you
it's like,
kidding me?
These mothers know where their babies are.
Yeah.
The only way I want to see a baby fawn is if it was somebody cutting hay and they got the doe.
Yeah.
And or they see the doe laying dead along the edge of the road.
Yeah.
Because their way of doing things is they go out to dinner by themselves and they leave their babies at home. And so
these are words that we all should consider.
Correct. And so they take them over the sagebrush, they take them over the hayfield, and they bed that baby down.
That's right.
They wander off to, if a predator sees them upstate, they go the other direction. If you get closer to their fawn, they come towards you.
Yeah.
They're going to come back for that baby.
That's right.
Leave it there. And, baby birds that fall out of nests.
Leave them alone.
The mother can find them on the ground.
Yes.
Where they're at. Yes, a cat may get them. But there's not too many birds that we don't have around here. We can't really do anything with them. 95% of the time when they show up at the office, we go, "Where did you get this?" And then we end up hauling it back to that area and releasing it.
What's the weirdest animal that you've ever had brought to you besides rock chucks?
Well, rock chucks are pretty weird.
Yeah.
There's some baby skunks once.
What?
And they're cute.
Oh, I'll bet they're just... wait a minute. Here we have somebody that has a baby animal for you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I've got a suggestion for the fishing game. For us people that can't draw, don't seem to. I know you say it's a fair system for everyone, but I can prove to you that it's not. But anyway, and I go to your meetings and tell you, but why don't you get 4 or 5 tags for each area and have that for the cost of what it would be if I was caught there poaching? To lose my license for 2 years and to pay the $2,000 or $3,000 fine or whatever it was. And then I can do that and go there and be legal. And I wouldn't have the embarrassment of being, because over the years, the 30 years, that's becoming more appealing all the time. And I'll hang up and you can address that.
Thank you for your call, sir. We appreciate it. I didn't quite understand all that. Would you explain that to me?
You bet. And I understand his frustration. I mean, there is a lot of luck involved in drawing a tag.
Absolutely.
Mathematically, everybody should have the exact same opportunity. But I do know, I know people that have put in for 40 years and never been able to draw.
40 years?
Yeah. They're putting in for tough tags.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not putting in for easy tags a lot of times when they're doing. But it's really frustrating when you put in for a deer tag like down on the South Hills. That when I first moved here, for an adult tag was 1 in 2 drawing odds. Now it's 1 in 7 drawing odds. I may never draw that tag. I mean, I put in for sheep for 13 years on a unit that only was a 1 in 3 drawing odd. So I couldn't draw a tag when only 3 other people were putting in for this, for each of those tags, and I was included in there.
Right.
And so what he's talking about is if we set aside some tags that people could either purchase or draw for, that they paid $2,000 for an application to be able to get that tag.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fine idea. I don't know how the sportsmen. I know that we get a lot of bounce back. I mean, the legislature's tried to put auction tags in the state where people could auction a few of the tags like they do down in Utah. Idaho right now, from what we get from the sportsmen, is not ready for that. I don't know how they would feel about increasing applications. I know that there's a lot of pushback on increasing applications for. There actually has been a deal that we were looking at for some of these harder to draw tags to throw them in the trophy regulations and bump them up to $180 application fee. A lot of pushback from doing that. I think it's a fine idea. It's a good one to, when we do the scoping next year, I would love to see that on our scoping for them just to see what the public is doing again. And
I don't want to take sides on this thing as far as who draws and who doesn't draw and the percentage chances, etc. I have drawn once. I have drawn once in all the years that I've lived here, and the years that I put in, I drew one time, and I think it was 4 years ago up there. You remember that?
I do.
And I don't know. I don't want to make this man upset in an opinion adverse to his, but I don't see another system that would be as fair and equitable as what you're doing now. Maybe I'm wrong.
You know, and that's
Am
why,
I?
No, I don't feel you are, because I do feel for this guy, because I understand where he's coming from, because I've been him.
Yeah.
However, when I look at everything that goes on in other states, and I see 300 or 400 or 500 tags being auctioned off south of us, I don't want to see that happen here in Idaho.
To where the, correct me if I'm wrong on the verbiage, but basically the wealthy would be buying their right to hunt.
A lot of them do. They have, I guess I look at some of their drawing odds down there, and they're horrendous. I mean, my father-in-law, he couldn't draw for 15 years, and his drawing odds after having 15 points was still 0.05% chance of drawing. I think we've got a pretty equitable system, and but it is frustrating. He probably lives in Unit 55, wants to draw Unit 55 or the Velvet Hunt, which has gone from a 1 in 12 drawing odd to a 1 in 50 drawing odd or 1 in 25 drawing odd, and it is frustrating because I put my wife in for 15 years for Unit 55 Velvet Hunt.
Really?
Has she ever drawn it? No.
Okay, we got to get scooting.
No,
here.
sorry.
I've got 10 articles left to go. Wild About Fishing, quickly.
Okay, got a class. If you're interested, this is a class for scout leaders, school teachers. It's actually a college credit class that I'm putting on here at the Magic.
Wait a minute. You're putting on?
I am.
You're teaching it?
April 13th and 14th.
You are the instructor.
I am. Lori Adams is coming over from Boise, and
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to...
You don't like fishing.
Well, I fish. I fish with 3,500 kids a year. I think it's an awesome outdoor sport, and I used to like fishing until I started taking 3,500 kids fishing a year. I used to guide fishing in Alaska. Okay, you go fishing with 3,500 kids every year and see if you still like fishing, Zeb.
Is this why you're having weekly visits to the psychiatrist?
Well, yeah. I used to drink, but I can't afford the liquor.
No kidding. So it's a Wild About Fishing class.
It is.
When is it going to be? I might even show up, and I'd love to sit in the front row.
It's April 13th and 14th. It's going to be at the Jerome Regional Office, and we're taking you down to the Hagerman State Fish Hatchery. It's a tour. I'm going to cook fish for you. You're going to learn how to fish. We're going to do knot tying. We're going to do fish identification. They've got a whole bunch of programs that you can teach little kids at Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
No. What are the dates again?
It's April 13th and 14th.
That's Friday and Saturday.
The evening of the Friday starts at like 4, and then it's Saturday.
Would you remind me? I'm going to try to make that.
I'm going to leave this paper for you.
I tell you what, I am seriously going to try to make that, because I want to, number one, I want to see how you are as an educator. Number two, it sounds like fun. And I just told you during the break I'm getting back into fishing.
I did.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Okay. We have a call.
We do. Cool. I heard the cow.
Kelton, be quiet. Go ahead, caller.
Zeb, did you two want to touch on that wildlife corridor introduction that's been going on for about 25 years?
I'll tell you what, Earl, I will.
You had yesterday.
Yeah, I'm gonna hurry. I don't mean to sound rude, and I'm hurrying you along, but I'm gonna try to mention that to him and ask him. I've got still quite a few subjects to get through, but I appreciate you reminding me.
Stay on course while you got a full sail of wind there.
Well, it's like playing game of cards while you still got a full deck. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, goodbye. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so Wild About Fishing course. I'll keep amplifying that on the program.
We'll do,
okay.
And we're hoping to get school teachers, because there is continuing ed credit for school teachers, and that's what it's a Project Wild class, but we're also opening this one up to the public as well as scout leaders or any,
If I bring an apple to the teacher, do I get special credit?
I don't. My teeth don't do good with apples. I need it cut up and skinned.
Like caramels. Yeah. All right. Hey, about brush planting, real fast. I got a weather forecast.
We've got a bunch of bitter brush plantings coming up. We've got them here in Buckhorn, March 24th. We've got one that we haven't determined the location is going to be on March 31st, and then another one on April 7th. They're still trying to find the perfect place for that, but this one at Buckhorn, we're looking for volunteer groups. If you're interested in coming and bringing your scout group, your church group, your civic group, your friends and family, give us a call,
324-4359.
And talk to one of your own, Tana Ray Alberti. She's from over in the Burley Rupert
You're
area.
supposed to say, Zeb, that's great that you can remember that number.
Yeah, that's why I gave you I fed you the starter line, because I knew you knew it.
Do you have to have any special criteria or ability to teach this class? When I said ability, I didn't mean to slander you.
I thought you was going to say to plant bitter brush. And I'm sitting here going a strong back and weak mind, but it's probably the same thing with the fishing class.
I got to get a weather forecast here. Weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657, or go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Oh, my delicious bacons and breakfast sausages, bratwurst, smoked hams, marinated prime ribs. Oh, it's delicious. Let's hear more about Scarrows Meats right after we have the weather.
Expect some rain showers for today. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Rain showers likely, maybe some thunderstorms this afternoon as well. Cloudy skies, high of 49. A little bit on the breezy side as well. East wind right around 10 miles an hour, becoming west by this afternoon. And for tonight, 40% chance of rain showers in the forecast, mostly before midnight. After that, it's going to turn to snow. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 34. Tomorrow, chance of rain or snow showers in the morning hours, mostly cloudy by the afternoon, and a high of 45. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 38. And by Friday, still, again, slight chance of rain or snow showers in the forecast, and a high of 46. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Okay, we've got some subjects we got to zip through here real fast, and this is really a vague subject. How come you didn't put more of an explanation on it? It's just entitled Fishing.
Well, because when I put fishing roundup, you say, well, do I need to bring a horse? And I go, no, so I just put down fishing.
Oh, you're quick. You are quick.
But no, fishing, it's hit and miss right now. You look at this weather. One day it's been tremendous. They've been catching a lot of fish out at Salmon Dam. Oakley's been picking up. It looks like we're going to get a little bit more runoff because we keep getting all this rain and snow. And so, it's that time of year to start thinking about fishing. One of the big things that we want to talk about fishing is get your gear ready. You know, it's time to put new line on. It's time to put get things ready for fishing because they're putting 500 broodstock in some of the area ponds, and those are like 2.5 to 3 pound fish. And we've been seeing a lot of fish swimming around with lines and hooks in their mouths because they've got old nasty line on their poles, and so get that done.
Now, at this fishing course that you're going to teach, though, are you going to teach everybody how to tie the proper knots and everything? I am. You know how to tie all that stuff?
I guided fishing for over 3 years in Alaska for fly fishermen and heavy bottom. We did a lot of halibut fishing and all the salmon species. And so
you know all about the next topic, too, sturgeon fishing.
I've caught a couple sturgeon.
Really?
And that's fun. And
what was the first thing that went through your mind when your rod went double over like a pretzel? You go, uh-oh.
Well, the first fish I caught, we set the hook, and I handed it to my 8-year-old son, and I go...
And that was the last you saw your son.
And the pole folded over, and I go, maybe I ought to grab a hold of him.
As he planes through the water.
Well, fortunately, he's a fairly solid kid. But, no, they're fun. They're big and fun. But this is one of the reasons I'm talking about making sure you get your line on. We've had some instances this year where... these fish, we use a stainless steel hook a lot of times for sturgeon. A lot of people will use a stainless steel hook, and it's about a 3.5 inch round hook is what we suggest because then you get better lip hooks. If you do the circle hook, if you use the straight hooks, a lot of times we catch them down deep in their stomach, and we don't want that.
Don't want that.
But use those circle hooks. And they're stainless. The problem is if you break them off, those stainless don't ever rust out unless you take your file and bump the metal, bump that stainless steel off the edge of the hook. If you do that, that hook will start rusting out and it won't be in that fish all the time. So, a lot of times you take a file and take all that stainless steel off the outside of it, the coating that they have on it.
I never thought about that.
And so that hook will absorb. But
what pound test line do you use for sturgeon?
50 to 100 typically.
Really?
It's usually some type of a cord. We've got 100-pound line on our poles. It's a rope cord. I always make sure that the sinker slips so that if it breaks off, it's the sinker, because it's a big sinker you're using.
Yeah, well, it's a 5-pound rock.
Well, it's not quite that much. But you toss it out there. Some people, you don't want that fish to get tethered to the bottom. And what I mean by that is if that line from your pole breaks off by the sinker and your sinker is tied solid to your hook, then that sinker can get stuck in the rocks and that fish is tied.
He's tied there.
Short to the ground. And we find fish like that in the Snake River all the time when they...
How do you find them? You send divers in?
They draw the water down. And you've
actually seen them like that.
We have. We've had fish that have been caught during high waters that will get tethered. And
do you have guys that put on diver suits and go down and check?
Usually, no, we don't, because but we've had that happen. We've also had fish that have had over 10 hooks.
How
in their mouth.
do you go about untethering them?
With a pocket knife. They're not aggressive. Usually
you're
when
talking about a fish that's probably 9-10 feet long.
Well, they can be.
Yeah, and you're going down, and you're saying, well, they're not aggressive, and you're going down, and you're meeting them face-to-face down in the murky waters of the Snake River, and you just take a pocket knife, a Roy Rogers pocket knife, and cut them loose, and you say that's not a chore that wouldn't scare anybody?
No.
You're nuts.
But usually the fish are dead when we find them.
Oh, well, you didn't say that.
They've been tethered
and then they
enough.
Float to the surface?
And they get stuck in the dams and things like that. So, and so what we're trying to get people to do is not have your sinker, we want it on a slip, so if the line breaks, you just put a stop above your hook so that the sinker can slide to that point and have it just slide up the line the rest of the way, and then if it breaks off below the hook, your sinker stays on your line, you can reel it in. If it breaks off above the hook, the sinker just falls off and just the hook goes with the fish. And if you've scuffed the hook, then the hook will rust out. Scuffed. And so, but
taking the shine off. Okay, I'll help.
Kind of like you.
Thank you.
So
that's good.
Get ready for fishing season.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah.
Okay. What about get your fishing gear ready? What else should they do to get gear ready, real quick? I mean, besides new line.
Oh, you need new line. You need to retie the knots, and I always put new leader on my fly pole. I always make sure that. If I'm putting new line on my sturgeon rod, I fill the rod. Every once in a while, you'll hear somebody down there saying, "Yep, I got stripped," where they take all the line off the pole.
Oh, you're talking about the line. Yeah. I see.
And they'll take a long.
I thought you were walking by a nudist colony or something.
No. But it'll take all the line off your pole. When you're catching these big rainbow, it's good just to have a good full spool of line on there. Check your tippet on your fly poles. Make sure your floating lines or your sinking lines on your fly rods are in good shape.
See, this
Oil your reels.
I've got to take your course. I really do. If I'm going to get back into this, I want to learn from the expert. Who's going to teach it?
Some drip under pressure.
Yeah, right. Hey, seriously, Hunter Ed course. We got to get to that real quick.
I've got a class. I'm teaching this class.
Another one?
I do.
They don't pay you enough.
Next week, I'm teaching a Hunter Ed class at the Rock Creek Fire Station in Kimberly. So if you're close, you can go over and sign up.
Maybe I better go to that, too.
Well, you could use it. But no, we've still got some seats left on that. It goes from 3:30 to 6.
When?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a little bit Saturday morning.
It's an all-week course?
Just in the evenings from 3:30 to 6 p.m.
Wow, miss supper. You're going to provide it?
No.
Oh.
No, you can buy a hamburger on the way home.
Okay.
We also have classes right now in Richfield, Shoshone, and Buell, and we've got some classes that are on the docket for all our classes over in the Burley area currently are filled, but we've got 2 more classes coming up. And so get on our website, fishinggame.idaho.gov, click on Hunter Ed, click on Instructor Led, and you can type in your zip code and it'll pull up all the classes near you. Get your classes done now, because you're going to be really upset if it gets to be application season and you don't have your hunter education done, so you can't apply for tags.
You know, did you ever think 20 years ago that you would be molding and shaping the minds of people involved in wildlife experiences?
Not at all.
It scares me too, I'll tell you.
Not at all.
Hey, I got a question for you real quick, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I'm being serious about this, but I've been hearing and talking to some people up in the Island Park area, very concerned about the potentiality of having the wildlife corridors that would absolutely deplete their private property values. What do you know about this?
You know, I've heard rumors of this for probably 40 years. You know, that there's been a drive to remove ranchers and farmers and people's private property rights basically from Canada to Mexico for a wildlife corridor. I don't, you know, I heard your speaker a little bit earlier today on the program. I just don't see America, or especially Idaho, getting to that point where they're going to relinquish
I hope not.
people's private property rights. I actually think in a lot of cases our private property rights are getting stronger. I do know that it's been around for 50, 60, maybe 100 years.
The worry.
This desire.
Yeah.
You know, at one time I know that they came out saying they just wanted to be able to purchase back all the ground all along the edge of the Rockies and just turn it into a wildlife.
But you do and appreciate the fact that these people are concerned because of environmental concerns like the Y2Y Yellowstone trail that they want with the wildlife, and also the Greater Yellowstone Coalition, etc. And I had some folks on my program day before yesterday that were very, very concerned, and I don't blame them for their concerns.
No, and I think you have to be proactive on things, just to, you know, for the things you believe in.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to say one way or another on it. But
no, but I respect you taking it and fielding that question, because I am going to be doing some more research on it.
Okay.
So thank you, Kelton.
You bet.
Want to remind you of our major sponsor as Kelton puts his cap on before it's time to leave, but we'll let him do that. Roll into spring with a great big tire sale. Spring tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires for your car, your pickup, your SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer. They've got tires like the Ultra Z900 on sale. This is the ultimate in tire technology for your passenger cars, or the Open Country HT on sale for your pickups. All of this and more with the best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, everything at the great places. All 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pauline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yep, the best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You're really going to teach a course.
2 of them.
Now, have you practiced this? Have you stood in front of the mirror and maybe practiced your hand gestures and your facial expressions and your oration as to how you're going to get this out in front of the public?
Nope.
Well, you should be really good.
I teach enough classes that I don't do that.
You're not worried about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You're not worried about having setups like me in the audience that perhaps might curtail your train of thought?
No, you're pretty easy to handle. When there's not a camera or a radio on, it's really easy to handle a problem, people.
I'm gonna go now. Yeah. Kelton Hatch, Idaho Fish and Game, thank you, my friend. Drive carefully out there, and we'll see you next month.
Hey, thanks.
All right. Tomorrow, 8:06, Zeb at the Ranch. God bless. The way things were are the way things ought to be.